Summoning Ned to King's Landing would be the last thing Robert would do to his longtime friend and brother from another mother for a variety of reasons, including the echoing of the last time the Lord of Winterfell was summoned to King's Landing by the king, when the Mad King did so and tortured and killed his father and brother. The fact that, more than likely, Ned was still hated by many in the capital for his role in the sacking of the city, even though the atrocities that were committed were done by the Lannisters and their troops, who more than likely spun the story to have it appear as if the Northmen and bloodthirsty wolves were the culprits. Robert is very much aware that the full charm offensive would be needed to convince Catelyn to acquiesce to her king's demand for her husband's service to the realm, especially considering the last time Ned went to the capital he came back with an extra mouth to feed. Welcome to my channel. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and also click on the notification bell to remain updated. An appropriate reason could be that it was probably down to the weight of the occasion. Robert was asking Ned to be his hand, an office that hadn't changed hands, no pun intended, in over a decade and a half previously, and an office that Ned could have reasonably expected to hold until he died of old age. Robert in this case, even though he's the king, is the one making the ask, and it's Ned, even though he's the subject, who's doing Robert the favor by saying yes. And Robert bringing the full pomp of the court to Winterfell, honoring Ned and his family with a royal visit, which is a big deal, is probably intended to make Ned saying yes an easier decision. It also gives Ned the opening to refuse, whereas if he's called to King's Landing, it looks more like an order than a request. It's also possible that Robert had secondary ideas, like, yes, visiting Lyanna's tomb or introducing Sansa to Joffrey in order to make that betrothal. Robert going to Winterfell is not explicitly stated in the series, but another speculation is that it's a mix of Robert wants to honor his old buddy Ned and make it more likely for Ned to accept the appointment. We see that Ned had absolutely no interest in the southern politics and was going to turn down the offer if not for Lysa's letter and Catelyn's urge, and Robert knew this. Robert is simply bored at King's Landing and would love a royal progress so that he can tour around his dominion with hunting and feasting and doing things he's been doing his whole life with some women he met on the way. Visiting Lyanna's tomb might play some role in the decision too, although I doubt it if it is an important reason, since in the past 15 years or so he never bothered. Robert and Ned grew up together under the responsible eyes of Jon Arryn at the Vale. Since then, they had been best friends. After Robert became the king, he didn't get FaceTime with Ned. Or hang out with him for that matter. He used to spend his days and nights drinking barrels of wine and boning millions of hoes. He seldom moved out of King's Landing. In fact, I don't remember him taking his entire royal party together at some picnic like he did when he visited Winterfell. Robert didn't think much about the expenses that were covered for his shitty habits. He didn't care how much his visit would cost the Starks. He wanted to meet his friend and reminisce about old times. He was still in love with Lyanna's ghost, yes, but that doesn't mean he would bring along hundreds of people to Winterfell. Many fans believe it was his way of taking his people to a royal picnic in the north. In addition, I believe it's often politically advisable for the ruler of a large realm to go visiting the different regions of his or her territory to gauge the mood of the people and to remind them who he or she is, and, if you have other business to conduct, then so much the better. Furthermore, high-handedly summoning a powerful noble to court might have caused resentment. While not seemingly great at the minutiae of ruling, Robert seems to have been fairly good at the stagecraft. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like this video and drop comments. And most importantly, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything.